Today we're going to learn how to insert rows and columns whether you're using Windows or Mac. So to do it, there's two ways for either inserting columns or rows. The first one is manually selecting the row. So for example, we're selecting row B. We're going to then proceed to right click on our mouse and we're going to see insert. If we click that button, it's going to insert a new row to the left. Go ahead and undo that just at the top here. Another way to insert a row is to click on it, click insert, and there you go. You have a new row insert to the top. Go ahead and undo that. While that doesn't seem like it may take a lot of time, in the grand scheme of things, there's a much quicker way of doing it for Mac and PC. I'm going to focus on the PC one the most. So to insert a row in PC, I want you to click on a row. So in this case, it's going to be 3. And I want you to click all at the same time on your keyboard, Control, Shift, and plus. And make sure it's very important that you're not lifting a finger off of any of the 3 buttons before you finish your command. So go ahead and do Control, Shift, and plus. You're going to see that when you do, I'm using a Mac so you won't see it on my screen, that a new row should appear and that 3, which was 3 in this case, would have dropped down and a new row would have appeared above. That is the simplest way to insert a row in Microsoft Excel. On Mac, it's going to be Control, Shift, and equals, and that's going to insert a new row for you. To insert a new column, you are going to do in PC Control and Spacebar. So click on your column and then just go Control, Space, and a new column is going to pop up. B is going to shift to the right, and the new B is going to be aligned with A. Now, if you want to delete the actual information in your rows and columns, it's very easy to as well. For this, you're going to want to select the column which you would like to delete all of the formatting in, or the text. And what you're going to do for a column is you're just going to do Control minus. That is going to instantly delete anything that you have inputted inside of that cell. So like I mentioned before, you're going to click Control and then plus, but not actually plus. You're going to click the minus at the same time. The same goes for deleting contents within a row. So if you like to delete contents in a row, you're going to click Control and then minus, and that's going to delete all the contents in your row for a PC. Windows shortcuts on Excel are much easier to navigate and to know, and the same shortcuts don't quite exist with Mac, so it's a little bit more challenging. That's why I definitely recommend, if you're taking this course or if you're wanting to learn Excel, you should definitely be doing it on a PC if you don't already have some experience with Excel, because once you learn it, the functions, the shortcuts, the formulas, they all just stick a lot better. In this case, the shortcuts. In this section, we're going to learn how to change the width and the height of an Excel spreadsheet. So in here, we just have a basic template of tasks open up. And changing the column or the row may help the visibility of the data that's in that cell, or may just make it more efficient down the line if you're inputting large data sets into a specific cell. All preference, but I definitely recommend resizing your rows and your columns appropriately so it looks nice and clean, and also it's more efficient for you to process the data. So to get into it, to adjust the cells, it's pretty easy. If we want to do the columns, all we have to do is navigate between B and C if we want to expand or shrink the size of column B. You'll see that as I put the cursor towards the middle of the two, I get this little image that pops up that has an arrow going left and right with a line in the middle. That's basically just saying if we drag to the left, we're going to increase the width of the column or the pixels, and if we drag to the right, we're going to increase the pixels of the column as well too. So if we want to resize it, we can go ahead and shrink column B. You see that when we do, though, we significantly reduce the visibility of column B so that our task list title is not being shown. So we're going to want to go out and widen that column, but we can make it a little bit smaller to fit more effectively. Same thing with column C or column D. If you want to adjust the width of a column, you want to make sure that you're grabbing it in between, right? So if you want to adjust the column of D, you want to make sure you're grabbing the column line in between D and E. If you're grabbing it between, C and D, you're not actually adjusting the column of D, you're adjusting the column of C. Same thing goes for adjusting the height of rows. If you would like to adjust the height of a row, all you have to do is click on it like that, drag down. That's going to increase the height or the pixels, and same thing, you can also shrink it to where it's almost invisible, but it's still there. Another way to adjust the height or the size of the column is by actually right-clicking. So if we're adjusting the height of the row to start, we want to right-click on the line of the row. We're going to go down to row height. Then we can actually just manually enter in a number. Instead of having to drag the slider up and down and change the height of the row, this makes it much more efficient. If we know that we want a height row of 20, we just enter in 20, click enter, boom, it automatically adjusts it for us. Same thing with the column size. We can go to column width, and right now it's 13.7. Say we want a standard of 15, we just enter in 15, click OK, and boom, it goes right for us and readjusts the column. Those are a couple of ways to efficiently adjust the columns and the rows inside of your spreadsheets. How to hide and unhide your rows and columns. The reason you may want to hide or unhide a row or a column is because there could be sensitive data within that row that you may not want everyone to see, or it could just be irrelevant. You may be thinking, well, isn't hiding and unhiding rows basically just grouping them? It's not. In another lesson, I teach you how to group cells, and grouping cells is dramatically different because when you group a multiple range of cells, you're doing so because it's not really relevant to your final result. But if the person viewing the spreadsheet wants to expand it and look at all the steps or metrics or calculations that got you to that end result, you can do that, and you can see it on the side here with a little plus arrow to expand the group of cells that you selected, or a minus arrow to shrink it back. When you're hiding a cell, you don't actually see that someone's hidden it unless you pay close attention. So, to start off, what you want to do to hide a cell. For example, maybe we want to hide cell A. So let's expand this. I don't know if you noticed that I put a cell just thinly in here. But let's say in cell A, I'm going to put the people who worked on this assignment. And maybe there's supposed to be someone else in there as well too, but they didn't actually contribute to it at all, but they said they did. So if this is just sitting right here, someone might notice and go, oh, hey, what's that cell? What I can do is I can actually hide that cell. So now you'll see, looking right at it, it doesn't even look like anything is out of place. The only way you will be able to tell actually that there's a hidden cell there is because the hidden cell will have a little marker, and in this case it's a green line showing you that yes, there's indeed a hidden cell there. So if we want to unhide it, we can just go click on that and unhide the cell, readjust the cell size, and we can see the information that's there. Similarly, we hide that cell. There we go. If we hide the cell, if we're doing columns, we can also do rows too. So say there's a specific row that you don't want anyone to see, something secret. Maybe your company name, for example. Maybe you don't want everyone looking at this to see your company name. So we can go on to the row. We're going to select the whole row. Just like with the column, we're going to select the column heading. We're not just going to select the cell, right? Because it's not going to give us the option to hide a cell. And you wouldn't really want to hide a cell because then that would get confusing, right? Because if we had the option to click on here and hide this cell, then automatically everything in this row would have to shift over. And if we had any calculations computing going down or across the spreadsheet, it would mess up the functions and the steps in that computing process if we didn't have it locked. So if we want to go ahead and hide a row, we're going to select the row heading, which in this case would be the third row, and we're going to go hide, and it's going to completely eliminate that row. Now once again, you will know that there's a hidden row because we see that dark green underlying line underneath 2 there. So if we want to unhide it, we're just going to right click, hit unhide, and your company name would come back up. Alright everyone, I hope you could see how this could be useful if you're sending this document to whether it's people at work or it's your professor or a classmate, how it could be helpful to hide certain information on your spreadsheets. And I would really like you to dive a little bit deeper in hiding and unhiding columns compared to grouping and ungrouping columns and realize the difference between the two. How to rename an Excel worksheet. So by now, we all have a pretty good idea of what a worksheet is. It's a place where we have all of our work, and it's either referred to as a worksheet or a spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet is contained right here with all of our data. Now, it's very important to be able to highlight and to classify these worksheets with effective and concise names. Why? Because when you send this worksheet to a client or to a customer or to a student or to a teacher, they need to be able to open it and instantly know by the tabs at the bottom what you're trying to convey in your worksheet. And that's very, very important, because if you just had this as a schedule and you forgot to put in chore up there, someone would just look at this and they go, oh, it's a schedule, but what's it a schedule of? And if you had all these items filled in, they may not know that's a chore item schedule. So it's very important in that sense to be able to effectively name your worksheets. So in this scenario, we have 2 worksheets. We have a chore schedule and we have a grocery list. What I'm going to show you how to do is really simply and easily rename these worksheets and change the tab colors. So to start off, let's go ahead, and what you're going to do is you're going to right click on the tab on the worksheet that you currently have open. You're going to see a couple of handy little insertion keys here. The first one's going to say insert sheet, next one's going to say delete, and then the one after that, or the third one, is going to say rename. We also have some other ones in here. If you really want to, you can move it or copy it or view the code. But for simplicity's sakes, let's just go ahead and select rename. When we do, it opens up the tab for us to be able to rename it whatever we want. So say, for example, this chore schedule is only going to be to take out the trash, and it's not going to be anything else. We could, instead of just labeling a chore schedule, put chore trash schedule, right? So now it has a little bit more information. And when we open up this page, we don't just read chore schedule and think, oh, what chores is this for? We know it's for our trash schedule, okay? This could be used in an office. This could be used in a house with other roommates. But overall, it's just more effective. And we could do the same for our grocery list if we wanted to. If you do a specific grocery store, right, for different deals throughout the week, you could put Mark grocery list, for example. And now you know instantly by opening it up what grocery store it's for. The other thing I want to show you is how to change the tab colors. And if you notice right now, both tab colors are red. And when you click on it, the words, the characters appear in red too. It looks simple, but red's also not that friendly, and it's also kind of confusing that they're both the same color. So in this scenario, I don't, who likes really taking out the trash? It's not a really fun chore. So we'll leave that as red. But going grocery shopping is fun. You can get new items, check out new stuff, although it's a little bit strenuous as well too. But say you want to make the tab a different color, just for, any reason. What you're going to do is you're going to right click on the tab. You're going to go to tab color. And then this nice little dialog box is going to open up, and it's going to show you all the beautiful different colors that you can change your tabs to. So in this scenario, we're just going to do something light up at the top here. One of the theme colors, a nice turquoise. We're just going to click on it, and then right away, it's going to automatically update it for us. And now the tabs are different colors. So those are two really great techniques that you can use on your worksheets. One, effectively name your tabs in your worksheets so the person that opens it knows exactly what you're trying to convey and trying to show and demonstrate in that worksheet. And the second one is changing the different tabs and the different tab colors associated with the tabs, so it looks more presentable and also more informative for different subject matters on different worksheets. How to delete an Excel worksheet. What is a worksheet? A worksheet is these little tabs at the bottom that contain different spreadsheets. Now, worksheets are very important, and you want to make sure that you don't just go around deleting them. But sometimes it can be very important to delete it to hide sensitive information. In this example, we have a mortgage loan calculator. Here, we have all the loan details, the values, key statistics. On the next page, we have our amortization table. And on the last page, we have our client ID numbers. So say for an example, inputted into this mortgage loan calculator, we could input our client ID and our systems would automatically pull their credit scores, their credit history, and it would pull everything that we would need to know to give them an appropriate mortgage loan rate. But say your client, for example, wants to see the mortgage calculator, wants to see the amortization table, and see how it's all laid out on your worksheet or in that specific spreadsheet on the worksheet. Well, you probably don't want to send them this file with all your client ID numbers in it. So to start off, I would definitely recommend creating a duplicate of the file. So the one you're going to send to the client is not going to be this one. It's going to be the exact same file, but a new one. On your original file, what you're then going to do is you're going to right-click on the bottom worksheet and hit delete. It's going to say alert, Microsoft Excel will permanently delete this sheet. This is why you want to make sure you have a replica. Do you want to continue? You're going to hit enter or delete. Boom. It's going to automatically take that worksheet out. So now we could go in, we could do our email function and send it off to the client. No problem. Because we permanently deleted it, we're not going to be able to do the undo button on that either. So just be very careful. The same goes for inserting an Excel spreadsheet, worksheet. All you're going to do is just click New Sheet, and then you're going to have a new sheet pop up for you. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching.